From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something that you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome into this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio. A lot to get to today. Before we do that, I'll tell you about the Oxford Exxon and Blue Sky. They're on Highway 6 West. If you were at the Pavilion last night for Ole Miss, Kentucky, you heard about the Stadium Cups. And while all home basketball games are over, we shift over to Swayze Field, buy the cup, buy it, get it, keep it, put it in your car. 49-cent refills at the Blue Sky there in Oxford. Every single time you pass, you can quench your thirst with the Stadium Cup from Blue Sky for just 49 cents. You get lunch specials, chicken and dressing to be tomorrow. By the time you hear this, it might already be lunch, so plan for tomorrow. Chicken and dressing is your lunch special for $4.99. Maybe some ribs tonight on the way home from Ole Miss and East Carolina. So plenty of options there with Blue Sky and the Oxford Exxon. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. If you're in the market for a vehicle, if you think you're in the market for a vehicle, if you're interested in being in the market for a vehicle, make one of your very first calls, Corey Clark, 662-257-1900. Ask for Corey, get Corey. He'll respond within 15 minutes in business hours with a quote. Ask for a quote. At least get that quote to get you started on a baseline for your automotive search. You can make this a lot complicated on yourself, or you can make it easy. You'll know when you get that quote from Corey that it's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. It's just right to the bottom line. That's your quote. And then the rest of it is up to you. You can shop that quote around. We think you're going to end up coming back to Clark Ford. You're going to get a great vehicle. I've done this now, it's 3 times. And every time it's just been so easy, so simple. Great people there at Clark Ford. They'll take great care of you. Delivery options. All that stuff. Corey wants to be your truck guy. He wants to be your car guy. Call him and find out what that means. 662-257-1900, and then tell him at the end of your deal that you heard about Clark Ford on any of our family of podcasts, and you'll save $500 off the already great bottom line at Clark Ford in Amory.
So, we'll get into a little bit of everything. You want to start football or basketball? Where do you want to go?
I think we should start basketball. I think that's the biggest story. That was a high-level game last night.
Okay, well, we'll tease the other. Ole Miss has an outside linebackers coach, Jeff Coons of North Texas. So we'll come back to that. But anyway, John Summerall's position has been filled on the staff, and looks like Ole Miss has its staff complete as spring practice is ongoing. Coverage of that at rebelgrove.com. Plenty of content from Ole Miss and Kentucky last night. Again, the 80-76 win for the Wildcats. Observations, videos, lots of videos, stuff there. Ole Miss won a marathon game against Arkansas Little Rock. Mike Bianco was quite pissed. We'll talk about that in a little while as well. Ole Miss East Carolina, have a story up with Cliff Godwin. We got some recruiting stuff, a lot of stuff at rebelgrove.com. It's almost a bargain at like $9 a month. So anyway, that is there. We get to basketball. And Neal, it's the interesting thing here, and we'll start with the game, and then we'll go more big picture.
Okay.
I feel like we just keep watching the same chapter over and over and over again. Ole Miss losing these one-possession games, essentially. I know it was by 4 last night. But so many opportunities late. They have a stretch 1 for 10 offensively. And because everybody focuses on offense, I feel like even kind of last night that was the thing. It was like, hey, Stevens misses the 3. Hey, the 3 in the corner was missed. They didn't convert this. They didn't convert this. In the second half, they couldn't stop P.J. Washington. And I felt like for really the 3rd straight game, while we were all focused on so much offense, the defense just never got a stop, and they're so undermanned in certain ways defensively that we're just watching the same kind of thing happen over and over and over again.
You just nailed it. Weather at 10. That'll do it for the show.
Yeah.
Hey, you're right. Listen, P.J. Washington, 6 for 11. Ashton Hagen's 3 for 3. Keldon Johnson, 9 for 18. Tyler Harrow, 8 for 12.
That dude was special last night.
He's a stud. Johnson was better. But they're both.
The Harrow kid, I heard, because you're at the stadium, and you obviously, or the arena, you obviously have this in front of you in a stat-wise. 54 of 55 from the line in SEC play?
Yeah, he's automatic. I mean, those two he took late, the ball never even grazed the rim.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure it hit the damn net. I mean, it just went in. Nick Richards, 2 for 3. They just look, when you shoot 31 for 56 and you only take 9 threes and you make 4, you're efficient. They were 14 of 20 at the free throw line. They lost the rebounds, 37-29, in large part because there's no offensive rebounds to go get. You nailed it. Look, everyone talks offense, and we'll talk offense in a minute. This team is struggling on the defensive end to guard anyone. And I mean anyone. Kentucky's really good. Kentucky played its A game. They were locked in. They're competing for something. They got embarrassed on Saturday at Tennessee, and they played intense, because if they hadn't, they'd have gotten beat. If Kentucky brings its B game yesterday, it loses. They're better than Ole Miss. The better team won. No one would argue that. Kermit Davis would not argue that. Ole Miss's issue moving forward as a program is they've got to get better defenders. You've got to defend better. In the second half, here's the ball game. First half, Ole Miss shot 50%, 12 of 24, 4 of 11 for 3, 11 of 13 from the free throw line. Ole Miss led 39-38. Pretty good. Second half, not so much. 12 of 35 from the floor, 4 of 14 from 3, 9 of 9 at the free throw line. So for the game, Ole Miss shoots 40.7%. Kentucky shoots 55.4%. Ole Miss shoots 32% from 3. They take 25 3-pointers, which I'm not criticizing. I think they have to take 3-pointers. But if they're going to take 25, they've got to make 10 to 11. And then Ole Miss, 20 of 22 from the free throw line. They've been a very good free throw shooting team. Bree and Tyree missed 2 consecutive at one point in the game. I don't remember when it was, first half, second half. I think it was first half. He missed 2, but you know, look, he was good last night offensively. TD went for 25. Bree and Tyree went for 21. Bruce Stevens, I thought, was his best game in an Ole Miss uniform, went for 11. Schuler went for 10. They scored 76 points.
Yeah, the game went over with like 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, they can't stop anybody, and that's what's getting them. And look, here's the deal. We're going to talk big picture in a minute. I think they need to win at Missouri. I don't think they have to win at Missouri. There's a difference. But I think they need to win at Missouri. And to do it, all they have to do is defend at about a 40% clip. They'll win the game. You always ask me, give me a number. I'll give you a number. If Missouri shoots more than about 41% from the floor on Saturday, they're going to win the game. If they shoot less than that, Ole Miss is going to win, maybe easily. And if Ole Miss wins, the pressure's off in Nashville. Off. They beat Missouri, and they're in. Period. Don't beat Missouri, and next week, look, gets interesting. I mean, you start to, and we start to have that D word, and the D word after today is not going to be allowed on this podcast. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to do it. We're not going to jinx this. So I'll say it one time, and then after that, that's the end of the D word. Agreed?
Okay.
Dayton. We're not going to talk about that anymore, except for me to say that if you lose Saturday and then you lose Thursday, and it does appear that Ole Miss will definitely play on Thursday.
Yeah, it's almost mathematically impossible for them to play on Friday now.
Yeah, or to wait to play on Friday. Yeah, to get the double.
Right. Yeah,
not going to get the 4. But if they're not playing on Friday and they lose on Saturday, you're in the mix for that. So they want to avoid that. We'll see. I think they're going to go win Saturday. That being said, they're not valuing possessions late. You nailed it. Man, your basketball analysis was fantastic, Chase.
Yeah, there you go. Look at me.
They're not valuing possessions. So that's the bad thing. Here's the good thing. They did all of those things, and 2 different times in the final minute and a half, well, 2 minutes, They took a wide open three that if it falls, they're down 1 point.
Yeah.
Bruce Stevens missed a wide open three. It was a shot in the offense. It was a good shot.
Top of the key, just took it.
Wide open. And then they got a corner three for Blake Henson, and he missed it. I mean, Blake gave him nothing yesterday. Blake played 14 minutes, got a rebound.
This is where I am going to ask you, because I don't know from a basketball knowledge standpoint. They stayed in that zone for the majority of the second half, and it wasn't just that Kentucky scored basically at will. It was that they scored the exact same way at will. There was the one kick out for the three, but otherwise they just got down on the block. They hit the shot over and over and over and over again. And maybe this is as simple as this is the style. I don't know. I'm not criticizing because I'm ignorant on it. Why doesn't Ole Miss play more man?
Well, it's a good question, and it's a question I have. Here's the easy answer, and this would be a fun thing to discuss with Kermit after he got probably yelled at you for not knowing basketball as well as we should. Here's what's interesting is so to play man, that means obviously, not to be a smartass, you've got to play a man on Washington.
Okay.
Henson would not defend last night, so he's out. KJ Buffin, who I think is going to be a really, really good player. Okay? I think KJ is going to be a different player next year than he is this year. But right now, they don't have time to say, hey, KJ, let's go put you in the weight room and let's put 20 pounds of muscle on you right now. It doesn't work like that unless you're DK Metcalf, at which point it probably does work. But if you're not him, it's gonna take an off season. Well, we're not to the off season, so he can't physically match up with Washington. So Dom, not athletic enough. Just not athletic enough. Dominic Olenichik last night, and I'm not picking on him. I really like the kid, the person, okay? I do. I like him a lot. Played 7 minutes, committed 2 fouls, got a rebound. That's empty. He couldn't play. I had to get him out. So the other thing you're trying to do is you're trying to preserve Bruce Stevens some for the offensive end because you need him there. Because he actually was able to do some things offensively against Kentucky. But if you stress him too much on the defensive end, he's got no legs left. And I would argue that's why he missed that 3. It was short. Bruce played 33 minutes. I didn't write this because I'm not positive of it. I think that's the most minutes he's played this year. He was gassed, man. He was done. And so I just – here's the simple answer, Chase. It's a great question. You put me on the spot here because I'm going to have to ask some smart baseball questions here soon to make up for this.
Okay.
The answer is they've got to recruit better post players. That's the answer. They've got to recruit better post players. There's no way to go get one in March, so they are what they are. And Bruce is playing really hard, and Bruce is giving them a lot, but they're not getting anything out of Dom at all. Not on the defensive end. He can't guard anybody. And then Buffin is okay in spurts, but he has to have the right kind of matchup. And they've got to get more out of Blake. Got to get more out of Blake. Bottom line, and they will. And Blake's going to be a really good player. He's a freshman. That was a big moment for a freshman, and he just missed. He just couldn't handle it. He's going to have a really good career at Ole Miss. There's no doubt in my mind. But you got to go out and get more players. It's a critical recruiting cycle. It's a critical 2 recruiting cycles for Ole Miss. They're out recruiting their butts off. Give them credit last night, man. They showed up and they played hard. Credit to the Ole Miss fans. They were loud. It was a fun environment. It's turned into one of the real fun environments in the league. I heard a lot of the Kentucky writers talking about how that was a neat environment. The program's headed in the right direction. It really is. There's no doubt. Attendance was up 22%. It's the highest jump in the league.
That's a big number.
It's a big number. There's a lot of positives. And look, man, I mean, there's no moral victories, and I'm not claiming one for Ole Miss, and no one at Ole Miss is claiming one. But this team is much closer to being special than it is to being subpar. I mean, you change a bucket at Florida, and I know there are 15 teams in the country that could do what I'm about to do. Change a bucket at Florida. Change a bucket in Fayetteville. Change one bucket at home against Tennessee. Now, the flip side is, Georgia had the ball in the air and could have beaten Ole Miss. I mean, there are some give and take in there. But you change just a couple of things. Give them 2 wins. Don't give them 3 or 4. Give them 2. And they're the 4 seed in the SEC tournament.
21-9 and rolling.
And absolutely locked into as probably a 6 or a 7 in the NCAA tournament. They're real close to that. Now, you got to go win on Saturday.
Yeah, it's right in front of you. And at the end of the day, if you want it, go take it against a bad team.
I absolutely agree. It is absolute gut check time. Go show up, play with intensity, play with fire. I think Kermit's going to rest them a little. They're not going to practice today. It's going to be their off day. I think they're going to go easy on Thursday.
They get an extra game. They get an extra day. Missouri's not play. They're playing in Athens tonight.
Yeah, Missouri's got travel. It's all there. Go win. Go show up and win. And if you do, man, all of this goes away. And I will say what I've said all year long. If this team makes the NCAA tournament, especially if this team goes and wins on Saturday and takes the suspense away, here's what you go do. Here's what a good team does. And it's a good team. Go win on Saturday, show up on Thursday and win. Whatever happens Friday happens. Whatever. Lose, win, whatever. And then go to the NCAA tournament. You're not getting out of the first weekend in all likelihood. Upsets happen, but it would take an upset. And look back and go, what a first year. There's not an Ole Miss fan alive who, if I'd offered you before the year 20 and 11.
Yeah.
If I'd offered you 20 and 11, 10 and 8, and an NCAA tournament bid, no one would have asked a single question. So you take it. He'd get SEC Coach of the Year or real close to it. All that stuff doesn't matter. They'd be able to go to the NCAA tournament, but go win. So go to Columbia, play a bad team who has to travel, who's lost one of its starting guards, and win. Go win the game. You're better than them. I watched the 2 teams play in Oxford a few weeks ago. Ole Miss is better than Missouri. Go win the game. Go win the game. Win the game, and then be done with it. Go to Nashville and see what you can do. And get ready for the NCAA tournament, hope for a good draw, and make it a building block for your program. Because if you don't go to Columbia and win, no one's holding the Tennessee loss against you. No one's holding the Kentucky loss against you. And not many people, frankly, are holding the Arkansas loss against you. But if you go to Columbia and lose, and then you go lose on Thursday in Nashville and you don't get in, I don't really think you get to play the victim card.
Yeah. And if you're in, you're destined for Dayton at that point. You've got big blinking lights around you for a Dayton bid. You might get lucky, but you're in the running.
You just said it twice.
Yeah, sorry. You told me I could talk about it today.
Okay, that's true. Today, after today, you're not. That's not allowed on this here potato lawn.
You're not really in the mood for going from Dayton to Nashville to San Jose to parts unknown. You're just doing. I've been nice to you today, and I would appreciate some reciprocation from you right now. Oh gosh, if we were female, we could buy each other gift certificates for Blow Dry Bar, Oxford, 662-638-3310, 1801 Jackson Avenue there in Oxford, 10 to 6 Tuesday to Friday, 10 to 3 on Saturday. Voted Oxford's best new business in 2018. Again, go and get a gift card for any of the services provided there. Mention Rebel Grove, get a discount in the process. So many different things for the lady in your life. Or if you're listening, take care of yourself if you are female. Again, 1801 Jackson Avenue in Oxford, 662-638-3310.
Guests join us on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. Patterson and Earhart, attorneys at law. They specialize in personal injury and real estate law, but theirs is a general practice that can handle any of your legal needs. When you contact them, you speak to one of the partners in the firm, and that's who handles your case. If Patterson and Earhart can't help you, they'll refer you to someone who can. John Calvin, Patterson, and Wes Earhart are Ole Miss guys, local guys, and when you call them, you're going to get one of them on the phone within the same day, guaranteed. So give them a call, 662-526-1992, or check out their website, pelaws.com. My post-game observations are up at rebelgrove.com. They're sponsored by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust, based in Madison, Mississippi, represents clients in 24 states and has advisors in 3 states. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. Investing at Pinnacle Trust is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. What they do is they sit down with you, they find out what your goals are, what your dreams are, what your expenses are, and they put together a retirement plan that's just for you. Pintrust.com, P-I-N-N Trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee. At some point today, I will publish my mailbag. Frankly, I'm just behind on it, but I've started. It's sponsored by the Westin Jackson. Restore serenity to your soul at Soul Spa. It's the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. And then gather at Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro, sip on a creative craft cocktail, or enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Chef Caden's mission is to connect guests with the community through local partnerships, so gather at Estelle tonight. And the podcast brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John is part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows him to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. What you do is you give him a call, you give him some parameters, you give him a budget, and he'll give you options you will not find on your own. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387, or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients save $50 off their first book trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
Someone just recently purchased the Kate necklace in silver from Omaha, Nebraska on scriptedjewelry.com. So throw some Mississippi, Memphis, Nashville, some of our main markets in that recently purchased area as well. Go to the website, scriptedjewelry.com. The lookbook, the frequently asked questions, the sizing guides, and the turnaround times that are good enough to take care of you in prompt fashion to get a special someone in your life, something customized that they will remember and wear proudly. Again, put your special message, fingerprints, and much more on a piece of jewelry with Scripted Jewelry, and you use Rebels10, REBELS10 at checkout for a 10% discount. Again, scriptedjewelry.com. Thanks to Hannah at Blow Dry Bar. I think we've got the lighting situation figured out, Neil, for maybe any of our potential videos in the future for my twitching as I do.
Yeah.
Got a little hand in that. They helped out. Blake with Blue Delta has helped out in that matter as well. But man, it's people helping people around here. So
that's awesome. I saw Blake last night at the game.
I saw him at baseball.
How about that?
He was making the rounds.
It's like we're damn community or something.
I know. Did you at least have Blue Delta on?
I did. It's about all I wear.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's what I thought. Did you wear the corduroy?
No.
It was cold. What are you doing?
I had jeans on.
It was cold.
It was a busy day, man. I had a lot going on yesterday. I don't know how well put together I was. I'm not sure that what I had on even matched. It was a day. Yesterday was a day, Chase. It wasn't a typical Tuesday. It was a day. It was a day full.
Well, I mean, I said it was Monday on our first edit of the podcast this morning. So,
and you know what? Had you not corrected yourself, I would have just assumed, based on how I feel this morning, that it was Monday. I mean, I wouldn't have even argued with you. I would have said, "Damn, It was a day."
Yeah, I know it's still March, but everyone, you should go check out the corduroy at Blue Delta because it still is quite nice. I'm a little envious is that I bypassed that a couple months ago when we talked about it.
I got to tell you, you should be jealous. Yeah, they're awesome. They are, and I like corduroy, but these are I have a nice pair of non-Blue Delta corduroys that I like. I mean, I like them. The Blue Delta corduroys, no joke, no hyperbole, are 600 times better. They're amazing. They're warm, but they're not that bulky corduroy that everyone's used to. They fit like a jean. They're more versatile than even I thought they would be. Man, they're awesome. I mean, I'm ready for some warm weather because it's been cold, and yesterday was cold walking from football to basketball, and then I went and parked my vehicle at the Pavilion, and I had to walk back to football and all that stuff, and it was chilly. So I'm ready for some sun and all that, but they're fantastic. I'll tell you this: when it starts getting cold again in October, November, or whatever,
which you'll be waiting on with Bales anyway.
Yeah, because after 6 months of summer, I'm ready for cold weather. I'll be one of the things I'll be excited about is putting those corduroys back on. Okay. They're fantastic.
Looking around the SEC last night, just scores, we kind of move on a little bit. Tennessee took care of business at home, 71-54 over Mississippi State. Really non-consequential for State at all. They're in the tournament. They're one of the top 10 teams in the country in Quadrant 1 wins.
They are. They got some issues getting it. They're in the tournament. They deserve to be in the tournament. They got some issues if they want to do anything in the tournament.
They do. But Tennessee takes care, 71-54. Pretty good game in Alabama last night in Tuscaloosa. Auburn winning 66-60 to sweep that series on the year, beating the Crimson Tide. I still find it incredibly stupid that they hand out the football trophy at the basketball game, but whatever, it is what it is.
Yes.
I don't understand. It's incredibly dumb.
It is. It's stupid.
Is it? I mean, I don't know the answer to this. You were over there in that nut job state. Is it? Is it a deal where it guarantees they get all the football writers to cover the basketball game for the night? Is that the goal?
No, I'll be honest. I think it is. We do it this way because we've always done it this way. I don't think it's any more
stupid.
I'm not arguing.
Okay.
I mean, if you're waiting for me to defend it, I'm not. I always thought it was stupid.
What's the name of the trophy?
I don't know.
And I forget. It's got a weird name.
Man, I'm lucky I can remember my name right now. I don't know the name of that deal.
And then
like everybody else though, have a trophy and give it to the winner at the end of the game.
Give it out months later.
I know.
In another sport.
Like in March.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Hell, they're through another cycle of recruiting players.
They've moved on.
I mean, they have moved on. I mean, the budgets are. They've changed everything. I mean, do it at the game like normal people. Why not get you? I mean, someplace in like Enterprise or Thomasville or Dothan, Demopolis. There's some great woodshop class. I mean, get you a woodshop class and get you a Iron Bowl trophy. Weld some iron on some wood or something, and let the winning team carry that bad boy off the field after the Iron Bowl.
All right, so you want the answer? I got it here.
Sure.
The trophy given to the winner of the game is the Foley ODK Sportsmanship Award. Yes.
Oh, grief. Shut up.
Foley ODK Sportsmanship Award. It's named after James Foley, an Auburn Dean of Students and Omicron Delta Kappa Honor Society, which was established on both campuses during the 1920s. The Foley Trophy is presented at halftime of the Alabama-Auburn basketball game later in the same academic year at the winner's home court. At the start of each season, the SGA presidents of both schools agree to bet on the outcome of the Iron Bowl by agreeing that after the trophy presentation, the SGA president of the losing team will sing the winning team's fight song.
Stupid.
There you go. The more you know.
The more you know.
Wasn't this a couple years ago when like Auburn won the Iron Bowl, but Alabama won the national title, and the Alabama girl, the student body president, wore the lapel pin from the national championship to the ceremony?
Yeah. That was a strong troll job.
I really liked that. I completely approved of it. I laughed for a day after that.
I tipped my hat to that.
Yeah, she had like the CFP pin on. Oh gosh, I thought I had karma, or not karma, but just Murphy's Law coming to me last night because you commented on it. I tweeted a couple days ago a tweet thanking the Lord above that I was not involved in a game involving New Mexico baseball. That I will read the tweet to you here. It says, this is New Mexico talking. We dropped the finale in a wild affair in which there were 39 players used, 15 pitchers used, 434 pitches thrown, 4 balks in an inning. I really want to go back and see this inning. 40 combined runs, 42 combined hits, and a 9-inning game record, 4 hours and 52 minutes.
I don't know that mentally I could have handled that. That might have been more.
4 balks in an inning.
Yeah, I probably would have had an emotional breakdown somewhere around the 7th inning.
So I did get an answer, by the way. I don't know if we said this on the podcast, but someone tweeted it at me later in the day. I mentioned that Long Beach had played a 1-0 game.
Yeah.
A couple weeks, last week. Even that 1-0 game, college baseball, ladies and gentlemen, took 3 hours and 23 minutes.
Yeah. I'm not criticizing the sport you cover at all because I know there's a lot of interest in it, and it's becoming better and better and better. More and more elite players are playing college baseball. But why are all the games lasting so long?
I don't know. Somebody last night asked, will Ole Miss play more 4-hour games or 2-hour games? And I went 4, not even a doubt. 4.
Because the game yesterday started at 3.
It was over at 7.
Yeah, it was what was it, 13-9 or
11-8.
11-8. I'm sorry. I just can't keep up.
It's fine.
11-8, and it ended like I was back at the Pavilion after doing football interviews.
Well, someone had sent me a message going, "Hey, do you want to go to the basketball game?" And I was being serious. I said, "I'm not going to be done." And I think the response is, "The game started at 3," and I'm like, "I know. Yes, I'm aware."
Yeah, because when I put up the Matt Luke thing at 7:40, you still had not published your stuff from Little Rock, Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Why are the games taking so long? I mean, there's bound to be somebody out there that's wondering this exact same thing. So I'll pose it to you. Why are 9-inning games taking 4 hours?
Well, midweek games take forever because nobody throws strikes. Pitchers are very slow getting back to the mound a lot of times. Not every pitcher works fast. While the umpire tries to keep the batters in the box, they'll step out, and you've got so many signs, too, in college baseball. You go through like 10 people giving signs to somebody else. There's just stuff that slows it down. It's not one real obvious thing between pitches, but if you lose 5 seconds between pitch, that's a lot over the course of 300 pitches in a game. So that's the deal. It's a lot of stuff. It's very... Everything kind of has a procedure to it in college baseball, if that makes sense. And so,
yeah,
between pitches just takes far too long, and then they don't throw strikes. I mean, last night, I pull it up. And it's also like 25 degrees last night. It's freezing out there.
It was cold.
Little Rock's pitching staff, I tweeted this out. In the first 2 innings last night, Little Rock's pitchers threw 75 pitches.
Oh, God.
75 pitches in 2 innings. Ole Miss scored 6 runs in the first 2 innings, looking like crap offensively. They botched they for some stupid reason, no offense, but it was kind of stupid. With 1 out in the first inning with runners on second and third, tried to bunt. Did not work. Later in the first or second inning, they ran a sacrifice bunt with runners on first and second, and the lead runner was thrown out at third base. And at one point, Tyler Keenan didn't understand the count, thought it was 3-2, not 2-2. So on a ball to Dillard, he just starts trotting towards second base and gets thrown out, and they still scored 6 runs in 2 innings with those 3 things happening.
Yeah.
Little Rock didn't hit anyone last night. However, they walked 8, allowed 13 hits, did strike out 6, gave up 3 doubles. Yeah, not good. Not good.
So you said that Mike Bianco afterwards was pissed.
He was pissed. Yeah, he was pissed. They were mentally not prepared for that game yesterday, which is going to happen over the course of 56 games. But from a mental standpoint, they were aloof. They were not focused at all. Now look, Little Rock is god awful. So the game was never in doubt, too. Like I saw, some messages going, "Hey, 11-8, whatever." Well, I mean, I'm not picking on the kid, but he put in a kid in the 9th inning that had never pitched before at the college level. Most people in the press box, media-wise, did not even know he was on the roster. And he allowed the first 3 base runners in the 9th to reach, and they ended up scoring 4 runs in the inning. But he would not have pitched were the game in any sort of predicament. Jordan Fowler was not very good. He was better. He threw 4 innings that I thought were fairly sharp, and then in the 5th inning, really fell apart, gave Little Rock a little bit of life when Ole Miss was up 7-0, 7-1, 7-2, something like that at the time. I mean, the quote from Mike last night, let me find it real quick, because, I mean, this was, it was kind of a positive spin on it from whoever asked it. I think Brian asked the question. And it was, hey, for 4 innings, Fowler did it. Looked better. Looked like he was trying to give you something there. And Mike's quote at the end was, at the end of the day, he went 4 1/3 and hit 3 guys and walked 1. He might want to pitch better than that.
Well, that's fair.
It was fair. I mean, not wrong. They just didn't look very good. They just didn't play well. They made tons of mistakes. They do the bunt thing. They don't get bunt. Because I think there at one point, Mike said, hey, we've got a lead. Not that you're turning it into a practice, but let's situationally try to work on some stuff here a little bit. And they kind of failed at every part of that. They just weren't good at it. And now if there's a day, not defending them, whatever, but if there's a day where you're going to let your guard down, it was yesterday. It was 20 degrees. You're playing a team that's bad. You get out to an early lead. You know you got East Carolina the next day, and it's a midweek. It was ripe for a mental failure. And frankly, it might be one of those deals. Somebody mentioned this on the board, and they're probably right. Almost kind of like Saban yelling at his team after a 48-34 win, where you just go, hey, look, you do that tomorrow, and you're going to get your ass kicked. So yell at them a little bit, make them go home and think about it, and see what happens at the park the next day.
Well, you'd much rather than be mentally locked in for East Carolina than you would Little Rock.
Yeah.
What did East Carolina do with State yesterday?
State beat them 4-1. State threw Keegan James, which I thought was kind of interesting. They won. Cliff got thrown out of the game with 2 outs in the 9th inning last night.
Oh, it was cold.
2 strikes, 2 outs in the 9th. Got tossed.
So he was not happy with the home plate umpire.
I'm assuming, but don't you just eat it for one more batter because now you've given away your warning for the year?
I don't know. I think sometimes, honestly, you have to defend your kids.
Even in that situation? 2 on, 2 out, 9th inning, down 4-1.
If you genuinely believe that you've gotten the shaft.
The shaft, if you will.
Yeah. If you genuinely believe that you've not gotten a fair shake, I think sometimes you've got to send a message to your team that I'm with you. We're in this together.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because look, let's get real about one thing. If at some point later in the season Cliff Godwin doesn't quote coach a game, he'll be calling the shots in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like
somebody somewhere going to have an earpiece on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to keep it real. I mean, Cliff's going to have his hand in the jar when they're playing Cincinnati or whoever the hell they play in their league in somewhere in the middle of April.
Yeah.
If it comes to that. I think early in the year you send a message to your kids that, hey, you played hard tonight. I think you kind of got screwed a little.
Yeah.
It was Kermit Davis against Tennessee, when he got the technical. Was that the right time to get a technical? Probably not, but that was Kermit sending a message to the league that, for the love of God, can we not officiate a game better? And speaking of, real quick, not to go back to basketball, but the league's got to do better. The league's got to do better. Now, Kentucky won the game, and it had nothing to do really with officiating. But there were 2 or 3 calls in that game that just can't happen. Like one of the calls on Buffin, stupid. Terrence Davis got fouled late. They didn't call it. It was an obvious foul. Hell, you could hear the contact.
That block early in the second half too.
Yeah, that was a clean block. It's just bad. Get it right. The league is about to put, if all the coaches are right, if all the people are right, the league is about to put more than half of the league in the NCAA tournament. So everyone's doing its part. The SEC told the schools, invest in basketball, and they have. Everyone said, get better coaches, pay them better. They did. Schedule better. They did. Fix your arenas. Build new arenas. Blah, blah, blah. They did. Okay, now it's time for the league to do its part. Get better officials.
Yeah, it's fair.
Make the games. I don't know. Do what you got to do. You got the money. Don't tell me you don't have the money. I don't want to hear it. No one believes that. You've got the money. Figure it out. Get better officials. Make sure they're rested. Make sure they're sharp. I know it's hard. And listen, before anybody even questions it, there's no way at the speed of a game like the one last night, when you're dealing with athletes like Terrence Davis and Keldon Johnson, when you have athletes like that on the floor and you're a 40-something-year-old dude, you're going to miss some calls. I mean, the people that expect perfection, you're out of your mind, but they can do better.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. We'll continue this conversation in 1 minute. First, tell you about Community Mortgage. Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. So you're getting local underwriting, understands your market, a leader in condo financing and the float-down option. So lock in the current rate, but if it goes down, you just get the lower one. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
The podcast is also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. I talked to Sandy Grass just yesterday. The people at Grenada Nissan are awesome. I've dealt with them, done business with them for, 11 years. And they're wonderful people. Gene and Sandy have been friends of this podcast, friends of this site since as long as I've been here. And they're great. Great service after the sale. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, that's where you should go. Go in, tell them that you heard about it on the podcast. Tell them that you heard about it at rebelgrove.com. You get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. I need to reach out to Harry Alexander today. I just realized as I'm looking at a note from him, I need to call him. Harry Alexander is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market in Oxford better than Harry. Go to his site. He'll prove it to you. HarryAlexander.com. Click on the Properties and Neighborhoods tab, filter through about what you're looking for, and then send him an email. It's ha@harryalexander.com. And we're brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. When you call OUB, you speak directly with the live person. No 10 buttons to push, no 5-minute wait. OUB offers its customers the absolute best cash checking account. It's called Kasasa. And with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000. And with Kasasa, ATM fees nationwide are refunded. OUB also offers online bill pay and mobile check deposit using its online app. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And if you're staying in Oxford during spring break, need some help watching your child during that break, the Oxford Park Commission can help with its annual spring break day camp. Cost is $75 per child. It's open for ages 5 to 13. The drop-off is at 7:30 a.m., pick up at 5:30 p.m. Registration can be completed at oxfordparkcommission.com. The deadline to sign up is Friday evening at 5 p.m.
Podcast also brought to you by Mastercuts Lawn and Landscape, 662-607-7773, mastercutslawn.com. You can also email them for that free quote at info@gomastercuts.com. Get a deal done now, so let them take care of all your basic maintenance for 2019. It's going to warm up at some point, and that yard's going to need to be mowed. So between weed eating, mowing, and edging, they'll take care of you, plus any other special projects you have in mind. Talk to them to discuss those, 662-607-7773. Kind of last thing from baseball. Again, plays Carolina today at 3. Really
Real
the
quick,
only, yeah.
Tell you that you can get kids 12 and under today receive free admission to the game. General admission tickets can be purchased by visiting OleMissTix.com.
Okay. Max Chofie, really the only bright spot for Ole Miss yesterday. The Chicago kid that was used to pitching in that weather. I said, how was it? And he goes, it felt like home. I said, fair enough. He threw 3.2 scoreless last night, struck out 7 during that 3.2, so he was very, very good last night. Ole Miss is going to count on him in middle relief, as they always have. Might even be a guy that might be shifted a little more toward the back end because the fastball does play up a little bit, and he was good. They're going to throw Doug Nikhazy today. I'm really interested to see it. The true freshman getting his first career start, a guy that almost got a weekend start to open the season, just kind of missed out on that. So you can see him today at 3 at Swayze, and then a lot of runs scored around the league yesterday. I don't guess anybody really got upset now that I look at it. Vanderbilt beat Dayton Davidson. Sorry, I said Dayton because it's on my mind. Neil, see, look at you. Vanderbilt beat Davidson 24-2 yesterday in Nashville. Needed a lot more Steph Curry threes. Needed a few more.
Yeah.
South Carolina 9-0. Auburn over UT Martin 15-9. I mean, just runs everywhere. UAB, who comes to Oxford this week, their second one-run loss of the year to an SEC team. Bama beats them 4-3 yesterday. State beat them 3-2 earlier in the year. Tennessee, still unbeaten, beats Troy 11-2 in Hoover, Alabama yesterday. Might be the only time that Tennessee gets to Hoover this season. And then Florida beats Florida Gulf Coast 15-0. And there were lots of weather issues around the northern part of the SEC. Missouri's home game was canceled. Kentucky's home game was canceled, and Arkansas's home game was canceled yesterday. So a lot of cancellations in the other parts of the SEC.
Yeah, I think in places like Como and Fayetteville, you just can't play in that.
Fayetteville is just enough outside that area to get that weather detriment for baseball that everybody else kind of gets up in that area.
Yeah.
They just miss it. They're okay.
Yeah.
Just north of them a little bit. We teased this at the start of the show, so Jeff Coons is the new inside linebackers coach for Ole Miss. He was the co-defensive coordinator and linebackers coach at North Texas. Prior to this, he's been with Tommy Tuberville in the past, most recently at Cincinnati. Got some ties to Tuberville kind of all over the place. He's been at La Tech as well. His father was the coach at Holmes Community College. Pretty sure coached Josiah Coatney there, so some Mississippi ties in the family. Coons was also secondary coach at Iowa State for 2 seasons under Gene Chizik, and then was a GA at Auburn during that 2004 season under Tuberville when they went undefeated. So kind of his background. Graduated from Auburn in 2004 with a bachelor's degree, and then got his master's from Texas a couple of years later. So a little bit of a rundown there on Coons. Originally from New York. Neil.
He's got a pretty versatile background.
Yeah, a lot there.
There's a lot there.
Been around a lot of good dudes.
Yeah, no, I mean, everyone that knows of him kind of raves of him.
Matt went very technician with the hires this time.
Here's what I think Matt does. We can have the Matt Luke debate will rage on for months, maybe years, on our site and others. But when it comes to coaching searches, there's no doubt that he's doing kind of what I think most people would say is a smart thing. He's going and talking to people that he trusts, older coaches in the coaching business. He's getting recommendations, and then he's exploring from there. He's not just hiring people he knows, not all the time, and he's not afraid to bring in qualified people. I mean, he has said as much. So, we'll talk to Russell about this. We're taping a soft verbal presented by Dead Soxy later today. At least that's the plan. So I'll ask him about this, get his thoughts. Right now with the Ole Miss program, I know everybody wants a recruiter, and that's what I said too. I'd go hire a recruiter. I had someone ask me, well, what does that mean? And I was like, yeah, it's kind of a good question. I don't really know exactly what that means. I mean, you get these guys like that, Trooper Taylor and people like that have these reputations as great recruiters. But what does that really mean? Are you better off right now having technically sound coaches so that the product that is on the field? I mean, if I'm going to be consistent with what I've said, people have said, how will you judge the 2019 football season? It's that whole, well, don't they have to win 7 games? And I'm like, well, no. Why would they have to win 7 games? Okay, well, then how will you judge them? Okay, I'm going to judge them by how they look. Do they look more prepared? Do they get lined up right? Do they play with intensity? Do they appear to have a game plan that they follow? I mean, it's one thing, when you lose a basketball game like Ole Miss lost last night, you go, hey, it's a better team. When Ole Miss goes to Tuscaloosa or goes to Auburn and loses, are you able to say at the end of that, well, those teams are just better than Ole Miss is right now? Because that's okay. But if it's, God, we were completely unprepared, that's a different thing. So maybe the strategy is, and maybe it makes a lot of sense now that I kind of talked my way through it, get a technically sound coach so that the product that you put on the field looks technically sound, so that when you go to recruit, you can tell a recruit, look, we just need better players. You're one of those better players. Because if we're talking about getting the ace recruiter, is that code for something? Or is it, what is it? And I don't know the answer. I'm not trying to be rhetorical here. I don't know the answer to that. But if that's code for something, well, let's keep it real. You don't have to be an ace recruiter to do that. You just got to have the resources.
There are some scenarios where you and I would be a top 25 recruiter.
Yeah, I mean, there's some scenarios where I'd be a top 5 recruiter.
Yeah.
I mean, and then there's scenarios where great recruiters, quote, great recruiters, would not be great recruiters anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, if your job offers you, just going to use numbers, $60,000 a year, and another place offers you the same job for $180,000 a year, I'm going to guess you go to 180.
Yeah, but what's the training table like? How's the weight room? What color uniforms do they wear? How big's the stadium?
Yeah. That's, and when it comes to that,
are the dorms nice?
I just don't think it comes
How's the
down.
water pressure?
I don't think it comes down to much more.
I don't know. Water pressure is pretty important. That's a really underrated one people don't talk about.
That is important.
I'd love a recruit to go, hey, I was in those dorms, and that dang water pressure
Just couldn't get the soap
knocked
off.
you out.
Couldn't get the soap
Yeah,
off.
do they have really soft water where I feel like my hair never really gets clean, where I can't get the suds off my body? You know, that slimy feeling when the water is real soft?
Like Baton Rouge is that way sometimes.
Yeah, Louisiana's like that, period. Yeah.
Can't get it off.
I dealt with it in New Orleans last weekend.
I mean, those are valid questions.
I missed it. That's what she said, but yes. So, anyway, you're right. Point being, look, they hired a guy that appears to know what he's doing from a technical standpoint, and that's what Matt's thing's been so far. So, curious to see it.
And the more I think about it, the more I think that's the right way to go. I mean, unless this guy can't go into a living room and have a conversation, and he doesn't have that reputation. People rave about him as a good guy and all that stuff. So I'm going to guess that he can go into a living room and have a conversation with Mama and them.
You'll be able to find out. He's worked for a lot of people you know.
Yeah.
Or around a lot of people you know, put it that way. Long Beach State finally won a baseball game last night, too.
He didn't stay on Tommy Tuberville's staff if he can't recruit.
Yeah. Knows a little about the game, huh? The game.
Yes.
And probably knows some football, too. So.
But, yeah. Hand.
Again, Long Beach State beat Michigan last night, so they're off the schneid, if you will.
Yes.
Hey, got to win, dirtbags.
Bet they felt good about it.
I mean, dude, 0-10 probably gets a little cumbersome at some point.
No doubt. 1-10 sounds a lot better than 0-11.
It does, yes. There's no doubt. Oh, did you see the scathing review of Kyler Murray yesterday coming out of the combine?
No, but I'm not surprised. But fill me in.
Let me find it now. Who did it? Hold on. Let me locate it. I guess it was a scout or somebody. Hold on.
Here's while you're looking for that, you can answer this.
Okay.
If you're the Arizona Cardinals and you have the first pick in the NFL draft, you cannot take a 5'10" quarterback, can you? $5'10".
Let's see.
In a division where you got to play the Rams and the Niners, you're going to take a 5'10" quarterback? No way. Can't do it.
All right, let's see. So it was not a scout, but it was Charlie Casserly, the NFL Network analyst and former general manager,
who knows everybody,
took to the airwaves Tuesday I'm reading from the Washington Post, to deliver a scathing summation of Murray's performance at the league's recently concluded scouting combine. Casserly wasn't talking about how Oklahoma quarterback and the Heisman Trophy winner fared in on-field drills because Murray did not take part in any of those at the combine, preferring merely to have his physical measurements taken. Those boosted his stock in a big way as he got a shade over 5'10", blah, 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 blah. Okay, here we go. That's talking about interviews. According to Casserly, who claimed the feedback he got from teams amounted to, quote, the worst report I've ever heard on a top-ranked quarterback from the interview portion of it. These are the worst comments I ever got on a top-rated quarterback, and I've been doing this a long time. Study habits, not good. The board work, even below not good. Not good in any of those areas, raising major concerns about what this guy's going to do. He added that Murray better hope Arizona Cardinals coach Cliff Kingsbury, whose team has the number 1 pick, and blah, 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 follows through on that because, quote, this was just not good. Goes on to say that some people are comparing him to Baker Mayfield and other people, but then he hammers them about how he's not those guys, that they were never questioned on board work or leadership or any of those things, and that Murray does not pass the test with any of this here. He says they were not impressed with his leadership skills or potential for the interview. They weren't impressed with his study habits, and I can't give you the quotes, but they're pretty bad. And they were not impressed with his board work and understanding football and concepts that he was quizzed on, and that wasn't good. One thing that stuck out to me, this guy was never trained for the interview. Whoever trained him did a poor job.
Do you remember, and I can't remember who did the interview, it was one of those late night shows, Dan Patrick. He was doing the Dan Patrick show at the Super Bowl, and Dan Patrick was asking him questions that he had to know were coming, and he was completely unprepared. I remember that thinking that's a bad sign. No, I know press conferences don't matter. I know interviews don't matter. I get it. No one's ever won a game because they gave a great interview. But he wasn't prepared. And he had to know Dan Patrick was going to ask him the football, baseball questions. Those were the most elementary questions he was going to be asked. He had to be ready for that, and he was completely unprepared.
Yeah, it says here, I'm kind of mentioning that in the same story. Danny Cannell called him, quote, came across as unsure and unprepared. And then others pointed out to a televised interview Murray did before the Super Bowl with Dan Patrick, in which Murray interspersed moments of awkward silence with halting, non-engaging answers. Quote, I was just curious if it looked as bad as it sounded, Patrick said, because, man, it sounded bad. Where it's just silence, and I'm going, hey, these microphones are on, and I couldn't get anything at all out of him.
I remember watching it and thinking to myself, that's not the kind of guy that's going to be a successful face of a program, of an NFL franchise. I mean, look, here's the thing. NFL quarterbacks, this is not hyperbole. NFL quarterbacks are the face of your franchise, almost always. On Monday morning, they're in the room 6 a.m. They're there all day, every day. They're a huge part of the plan. They sit down with the coach somewhere Friday, Saturday, and cull things down. They are absolutely one of the 3 or 4 most important people inside the franchise at all times. And you can't roll the dice if you're the Cardinals on this guy. You can't do it. You can't do it. I'm telling you, I don't think they're going to. There's no way. There's no way Cliff Kingsbury gets this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go from being a mediocre coach at Texas Tech to the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. And
puts
they're going to
every egg in Kyler Murray's basket.
In that basket, you got to have no. See, that's the thing about Mayfield. Mayfield's got this edge to him that people like and stuff. But if you talk to people that know football, Baker Mayfield can get on the whiteboard, the blackboard, whatever it's called, get on the board. He can show you his understanding of concepts.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes gets it.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. And it's still hard as hell. You don't think that I'm trying to think the Jared Goff. Yeah. I guarantee you put Jared Goff on the board. He'll He'll wow you. Drew Brees and Sean Payton start talking, and you might as well be a different language. He gets it. He has to get it, because if you don't get it, you get beat. Even when you get it, you get beat. Mm-hmm. It's why the Bears like Trubisky so much. Really gets it. Wowed him on the board. Because he still can't make some of the throws that great NFL quarterbacks can make. But he's got so many intangibles going for him. Russell Wilson doesn't have all the size and stuff, but Russell Wilson wowed people in the interview process.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, you can't take him number one, man, because you blow that pick, you're done.
Podcast brought to you in part by G&M Pharmacy. It is there on South Lamar in Oxford. They deliver local to your home or workplace. They also have MedSync to get you on schedule and make it easy for you with your medicine every single month. 662-236-2222. Been telling you they offer now a pharmaceutical-grade CBD oil available in sublingual oil, soft gel capsules, or topical salves. It's an all-natural product, helps maintain overall health, and helps regulate many conditions such as depression, anxiety, pain, insomnia, and more. Studies show that 42% of CBD users stop using traditional medications and use cannabis instead. Again, 662-236-2222.
The Ole Miss softball team back in action tonight, 6 o'clock. They take on Austin Peay. Admission is free. For more information, visit OleMissSports.com. And the Ole Miss women's tennis team returns home as they host Mississippi State on Sunday at 1 p.m. Admission is free. For more information, OleMissSports.com.
So you would have gone 1-1 last night if we were betting on your picks. You'd have gotten the Auburn Tigers beating the Alabama Crimson Tide. They came into the game 2.5-point underdogs. And then you'd have got popped in College Station last night as the South Carolina Gamecocks found themselves beating the Aggies 71-54 at Reed Arena and really putting the number 4 seed all up in the Gamecocks basket, as we were talking about. All they got to do is beat Georgia, and they're getting the double bye, even though they are still on the outside looking in for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done particularly well on the A&M pick. Carolina played really well. A&M was bad. Yeah, you're right about Carolina. They're good enough to spoil somebody's week next week in Nashville. I mean, the truth is, the tournament, there's no telling. I mean, outside of the top 3, from 4 till about 9, they're all the same.
As of last night, before the game was over, were the tournament starting right then? Of course, it's not. We got days left. Crap, half the teams hadn't even played their midweek game yet. Ole Miss would have played Arkansas in a 7-10 game last night.
What time?
It just shows you where they're at, that Arkansas A&M kind of deal.
What time is the 7-10 game? Because here's the deal, guys. Ole Miss is going to play the late game on Thursday. They're going to play the very latest game because that's the game, no matter who I cover. When I cover Alabama, when I cover Auburn, when I cover Ole Miss, the team that I cover plays the late freaking game the whole time. Every time, every year, and then they go to Dayton.
Okay. If Ole Miss is the 8 seed or the 9 seed, they play at noon on Thursday.
Then that's not rule. If you're an Ole Miss fan, rule that out. That is not happening.
If they are the 5 seed, they play at about 2:30 or 3 o'clock.
Okay, well, I'm rooting the hell for that. So
get the 5 if you're the Rebels.
Yes, I'd be so happy. Gotta be. I mean, I'm done. I'm out of the arena at 6:30.
The 7-10 game is at 6 o'clock on Thursday.
It's not a nightmare. It's not a nightmare.
The 6 seed playing the 11 or the 14 is going to start about 8:15.
So Ole Miss got. Let me just.
About 8:30, 8:45.
Let me save everybody the trouble. Ole Miss is the 6th seed in the SEC tournament.
They will play Vanderbilt or whoever the 11 seed is.
Breaking.
Okay.
In fact, I'm going to tweet that right now. Breaking. Ole Miss is the 6th seed in the SEC tournament. They'll play the very latest possible game. And for you bettors out there, who plays in the game before that? Who plays in the 6 o'clock game?
The 7-10. So it would have been Ole Miss and Arkansas as of last night.
That game's going to overtime.
Okay, so bet the over.
Bet the over. That game's going to overtime, and Ole Miss is the 6th seed. So Ole Miss beat Missouri. There's going to be some tiebreaker deal. Book it. Book it. Ole Miss is the 6th seed. Ole Miss just beat Missouri.
Auburn will get the 5, Ole Miss will get the 6, and then it'll go on down.
There you go. That's
Carolina's got the 4.
Carolina gets the 4, but Ole Miss gets the tiebreaker over Auburn because they swept them. So they got to have – how does it work if there's a 3-way thingy?
Isn't it the combined record of the 3 teams against each other? But if you don't play twice, it gets a little complicated.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I had it up a minute ago, but I'm not going back to looking for it. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, Ole Miss is the 6th seed. Congratulations.
3-team tie. When 3 or more teams are tied, the following procedure will be used. If 2 teams are, whatever. Best winning percentage of games played amongst the tied teams. So even if they don't have the same number of games. And then after that, it goes to best winning percentage of the tied teams versus the number 1 seed and works down.
Ole Miss would have a hard time losing like a 3-way tiebreaker with like Mississippi State and Auburn because Ole Miss would be 750.
Yeah, the team that would screw up Ole Miss is Florida. If they can just stay out of a tiebreaker with Florida, they're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, because Florida plays at Kentucky Saturday. That's a loss.
Yeah, that's right.
Florida gets LSU tonight. That's probably a loss.
So you might throw them out.
Yeah.
Ole Miss might be in good shape for that 5.
And what time's the 5 play?
Like 2:30-ish.
Oh my God, everybody says I'm anti Ole Miss. Let me tell you, I'm cheering like a son of a bitch on Saturday.
Yeah.
We got a shot.
You got a shot.
I got a shot at the 2:30 game. That's fantastic.
You do have a shot at the 2:30 game.
Oh man, hotty toddy. Let's get this thing done.
Yeah. All right, you got tons of content at rebelgrove.com. Check it all out, videos, written stuff, whatever. We'll have baseball coverage today of Ole Miss and East Carolina. Cliff Godwin coming back to town for the 2nd time since taking over at East Carolina. You've got Russell and Neal doing some soft verbal action. That'll be to you tomorrow morning and more. So appreciate you listening. We'll talk to you on Thursday.